I always thought that when my business would get bigger, I would have less time, I'd be busier. But I realized that the opposite is actually the truth. And now that my business has been growing and it's been bigger than it was before, I actually read more than I ever did. And the reason for that is simply because it's crucial. I need reading, I need the inspiration from all those books. I need to learn from all the mistakes other people already made in order to do a better job as a CEO, in order to grow my business further, and just to overall learn new things. So my name is Wilco Kreij. I'm also the founder and CEO of UpViral and Connectio. And not too long ago, actually, my life changed quite a bit in a very good way, because I got a little one, a little daughter, a beautiful daughter. And because of that, all my free time where I usually spend in the evening, I do some reading, in the weekends I read, all of a sudden that free time is sort of gone. And I realized for a few months that I wasn't reading as much. It really had an impact on my mind and the amount of ideas I got and the amount of inspiration I got. So since that time, I started waking up earlier before my daughter. So I usually wake up around at 6. And because of that, I've been reading quite a few books for the last couple months, more than I've ever had actually. And there's been a couple that really stood out to me in a good way. And some of these books actually I read prior to this year, but I keep referring back to them. And that's why I covered them into my list of 2020 as well. And obviously, there's a lot of different books. These are all business books. Some books are more about psychology or specifically about marketing, for example. These are really the foundation of the business. And I wish I could just show the books to you, but I also started changing my routine, because now I actually read them on my iPad. So I can actually easier make notes and just go back to all my notes as well. Don't have the cover, but I'll ask my editor to show the books right here. So the first book that I highly recommend is the book Road Less Stupid from Keith Cunningham. I actually got the book from Keith himself, and what that book is about, it's really about thinking time, because so often we as entrepreneurs, we want to grow our business, and we basically put this ladder up and we climb that ladder as fast as we can, only to realize that once we're at the top, it's not pointing, it's not actually against the right wall. It should have been against the other wall. And that because we don't spend enough time thinking. So in that book, it's really all about thinking time, but more importantly, it lists a ton of good questions to ask yourself during the thinking time. So what I personally do, I try to spend and schedule in time where all I do is think. And I start with 1 or 2 questions, and I ask that question over and over in my mind. For example, what are the 50 things that could cripple my business today? And you realize if you answer that question, it's easy to pick the first 3 or the first 5. But then if you start to do, if you have to list 50 things, you'll find that you actually go a lot deeper into your mind, coming up with creative ideas and creative solutions for things. So The Road Less Stupid, highly recommend that book, because it lists a lot of those questions to ask yourself about your business and to come up with more creative solutions than you would normally be able to get. Second book, again, I read this one a long time ago. Traction. It's basically your phone has an OS, right? Your PC has an OS. That's the OS, the operating system for your business. How the meeting structures goes, how the business structure goes, and just things to make sure your business runs properly. This is mostly for those who already have a team in place to make sure that that all goes smoothly as well. So highly recommend Traction from Gino Wickman. A book that I read this year as well, which I actually enjoyed a lot more than I expected, is Lost and Founder from Rand Fishkin. And this was mostly a book that I enjoyed to read. It was his story about founding Moz, which used to be SEO Moz. He did a really good job in writing up his entrepreneurial journey and sharing the good and the bad about taking on investing and all that. And I really enjoyed reading that, to see that other perspective, and actually made me confirm that bootstrap is the way that personally I prefer more. Both UpViral and Connectio are bootstrap, which means that we haven't taken on any outside funding. We've grown it with our own money. We've with the revenue we got in, and we reinvest that into the business. Rand Fishkin, what he did is he raised money, which is the other side of the spectrum. Usually there's the camp of people bootstrap, and those are people who get funding, right? And both are good, but it's a different kind of perspective and different way of working on things and different way of thinking about things. But I just really enjoyed the honest truth about the way he wrote that story and shared the startup short story of creating Moz there. So if you're watching this, Rand, kudos for that book. A book also I read earlier, it's funny, I keep going back to books also that I read earlier, but they're just really good. Never Lose a Customer Again. It's a really good, a lot of good ideas to make sure your company is more customer focused and your customers are going to be more happy. You'll get some really good inspiration from there to make sure your customers are happy and to make sure your customers will be staying you a lot longer. as well. So highly recommend that book, Never Lose a Customer Again, from Joe Coleman. And last but not least is The Great CEO Within. So in that book, for me, it was really a practical book about like how to be a better CEO, how to be a better leader, and to learn lessons from other people who've been at places, you know, who've had way bigger businesses than I have, to learn from them as well. I really enjoyed that book as well. So that's my top 5 that I'd highly recommend you to read about business, right? So Road Less Stupid, Traction, Lost and Founder, Never Lose a Customer Again, and The Great CEO Within, right? So add those to your Kindle, get them on Amazon or whatever you do, and I hope you enjoyed them, and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, and I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, cut, we're done here, let's wrap it up. Oh, well, sorry, you're still there. Well, in that case, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel where I share marketing tips, tricks, and strategies that will help you grow your business faster. So you can click on the subscribe button right now, or check out the next video. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.